Buhari backs Amaechi as ministers tackle Gambari over multi-million naira contracts. Hello, my wonderful people. Around presidency, everybody is doing whatever they like. And guess what? They get away with it. These people, most of them are not probed by the EFCC. They are not investigated, and nobody goes ahead to see if really truly what they have, said they were doing, they were actually doing it, or it was really honest and truth. Ibrahim Gambari became Buhari chief of staff when the late Abakari passed on. And since then, there's been a few low-skill scandal. And right now, ministers are asking, what did you do with multi-million naira contracts? This is what they do. When they come in, they find every avenue. To a large extent, the spirit of greed is like it hovers or it lives and resides, in governance. So much so that these people are being paid in millions per month. I'm not saying annually. That is 1 month, 28 days. It's more than how many millions that comes into the accounts. But you know the thing with greed, it's insatiable. Please don't forget to give us a thumbs up, like us, share, subscribe. Let's get all the details. Buhari backs Amaechi as minister tackles Gambari over multi-million naira contract. Prime time investigation based on leaked confidential memo and interviews with sources show how the president and the minister awarded a secret sensitive contract to two unqualified companies. The Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amaechi, has accused President Muhammadu Buhari Chief of Staff Ibrahim Gambari of interference with the procurement processes in his ministry. The latest such sketchy between senior officers in the Buhari's administration has blown wide open. The accusation was the minister's response to Mr. Gambari's apprehensive intents on the adoption of international competitive bidding exercises to engage contracts for the implementation of international cargo tracking, note ICIN scheme in the Nigerian Ships Council under Mr. Amaechi's supervision. The prime time investigation based on leaked confidential memo and interviews with sources shows how the president and the minister awarded secret sensitive contracts to two companies, MedTech Scientific Limited and Razil International Limited, in ways that breached the procurement law and accused the Bureau of Public Procurement to comply with the procedures which leaked due to lack of due process. Mr. Amaechi was able to conveil the due process and got to Buhari to approve the contract, brushing aside the BPPS advisor that only a competitive bidding exercise were apprehensive. The BPP said the contractors were handpicked instead of a process that will have allowed interested companies locally and internationally to compete. Prime Times understand that Mr. Gambari, on the strength of a BPP memo, decried the embarrassing situation processes followed by Mr. Buhari and Mr. Amaechi has still been desired of casting a revelation on it. In a memo dated October the 14th and addressed to the president, Mr. Amaechi said the chief of staff has constantly sought to impose his interest. This is the Amaechi saying that the chief of staff has always sought to impose his interest on issues relating to procurement proceedings in his ministry, making it official that he had evidences that the chief of staff was not acting in the public interest but to benefit from the contract by proxy. Mr. Amaechi told Mr. Buhari that Mr. Gambari's daughter, Ibiku, Gambari approached him for the same contract. I am particularly concerned that his opposition to my ministry initiative in respect to the ICTNC scheme was increased in tempo after the visit of some certain Miss Iboko Gambari at his home to my office with a partner to solicit for the awards of the same ICTN contracts, which request was not granted. Mr. Amaechi said in his letter to the president, it will be approved. It will be approved. It will be inappropriate for me that I desire to satisfy multiple partners because you are related to the chief of staff and continue advocacy, and add that this sensitive contract is split into several areas to multiple service providers, even though standard procedures and jurisdiction was not followed. He requested that Mr. Gambari refrain from interfering with the procurement procedures of his ministry and the agencies in the interest of service harmony. In view of the foregoing respective solidarity over excellency intervention and directives in respect of the following matters, that the chief of staff should refrain from his multiple acts in interference in the procurement procedures in my ministry and agencies in the interest of service harmony, and in order to ensure that our excellency is given the benefit of honesty and objective advice, void of personal interest at all times, especially in relations to matters affecting the Federal Ministry of Transportation, and that the procurement procedures as earlier approved by Mr. Excellency should continue and concluded by the Federal Ministry of Transportation. Mr. Gambari did not honor a request to comment when our phone call came. So the new chief of staff is actually looking for things that will benefit him and benefit his own interest. Now, this is what is going on. He brought his daughter, he brought his daughter to get a contract, and this is not following due procedures. Yes, so this is why Nigerians, you can see why things are not done decently and in order. That's why things are not done decently and in order, because everybody wants to have a share of the national cake without true intent of service, but rather what people want. When personal interest interferes with national interest, these are some of the things that happen. Listen, my people, we need to come out of this selfishness and begin to give what makes us, us, not I. Until we come to that aspect, greed will never be conquered. Leave us a comment. We would love to hear from you. God bless you. Do not forget to like us, subscribe. Bye for now.